All right, so what's up? So I wanted to kind of make this video, and it's basically I was inspired by this guy that I follow on YouTube. His channel is Beleaf in Fatherhood, Beleaf in Fatherhood, and it's really cool, really interesting channel. I love this guy, man. He probably doesn't he has no idea how much it means to me, but he's really inspiring, and it's basically a story about him and his kids. His family just kind of does channel videos on his babies, calls them his chocolate babies. They're real cute, and his wife and anyway, he recently did a video on his baby girl. They just had a baby girl, and he did a video on how she came to be and just like the whole story of their birth and her birth and just how she came to be, the announcement that they made to the kids. It was just really cool. So it kind of inspired me to do the same about my family. So I wanted to kind of share with you how my family came to be. And so my family, it got started in the way I think everything came to be was March 4th of 2007. 3407 are numbers that are engraved in my head. And that was a day that me and Crystal, more so obviously Crystal, um, she had a miscarriage. And I remember being at the hospital that day. And, actually that day, I remember that day like vividly, like as if it were yesterday. The bleeding that happened a little bit before. Um, we went to the hospital, and then being at the hospital, just, kind of waiting. We kind of knew what was coming, but I still was like, kind of holding out hope, like, this wasn't going to be the case. And I remember, they took Crystal back to the room, and that's how my parents had called saying that they were there. So I went to go get them. And when I went to go get them, the doctor had already had talked to Crystal. And I went into the room, and he was walking out. I remember uh, seeing her face, and just watching her cry, you know, like just weep. And you know, it was uh it was hard because at that time there's no I love you, or no kiss or hug that I could give her was gonna take away the pain that she was going through. So anyway, that was a terrible, difficult day for both of us. But I think that's where my family began and got started. But I remember that day, I was just that from that moment forward, I was very angry. I was very bitter. I just felt like you know, God took this away from me, and I felt like He owed it to me. He took it away from me. So for a while there, I was very very angry, very bitter, battled a little bit of depression, just upset. And I remember at the age of 25, like the Lord was gracious and He saved my life. He saved me, and at that moment, I became very content in Jesus. I was happy. Jesus was enough, for me. I didn't need anything else. And today at church, it's funny, we talked about who is Jesus, and one of the things that we discussed was um, the seven I ams in the book Gospel of John, and we went over the first one today. It was John 6, where Jesus says, "I am the bread of life." And actually, I don't want to butcher the verse for you guys. I probably should know it by memory, but I don't. But I wanted to kind of share that with you guys, and but one thing that he said in John chapter 6 talked about being the bread of life, and he said he says in John 6 3:35 6:35, says, Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger. Whoever believes in me shall never thirst." And I remember on that when the Lord saved me, like He became the bread of life for me. Like I was satisfied in Him. So I became content with not having kids. It's not like we hadn't tried. After that, yet people tell you, when you have a miscarriage, oh, it's easy for you to get pregnant, you'll get pregnant again. Years went by and nothing. So, Crystal and I think, I don't know if she was totally in it, but I know I was. I was just happy and content, in Jesus. And I just thought, we can't have kids, and if the Lord sees it fit for us to have kids one day, then great. If not, no big deal. I'm in love with Crystal. I'm still in love with her like crazy. I just felt like, hey, we'll travel and do stuff. No big deal. So anyway, I was really happy and content. And during this time, it's amazing how the Lord was kind of working and orchestrating my family. That time, my wife's cousin Laura had got into the fostering, and the very first boys that she had were actually Larry and Sebastian. And then a little bit down the road, she ended up bringing in Elijah. Elijah was a month old when she got him, and I remember, Crystal and I had this like, just strange connection to Elijah. We just were drawn to him. He was a beautiful baby boy. And I remember one night, one day, well, actually one morning, Sunday morning at church, I was in the back and Laura is carrying Elijah. Actually, I think I had Elijah, and she tells me, random, just like during the service, she's like, hey, would you be interested in adopting Elijah? And I remember telling her on that day, I was like, no, I don't think so. We're cool. I'm gonna have we'll have our own. It's no big deal. We will. So anyway, we left it at that, and I talked to Crystal that day. I told Crystal, hey man, something weird. Laura asked if we would be interested in adopting Elijah. I think he was gonna be up for adoption. And she's like, well, what'd you tell him? I was like, well, so we're good. We're gonna have our own kids. She's like, why? I really, she had this. Crystal just had this bond and connection with him. I don't even think Laura had any idea that she was part of this master plan of the Lord and working and orchestrating, and I don't think she has an idea how instrumental she was in me, starting getting this family. So anyway, um, we ended up taking Elijah. We got him when he was about 9 months, 8, 9 months, and man, I'll never forget the first night I had him. We had him at the apartment. We were playing um, a song. I know his name is Israel. He plays the ukulele. I think he's a real big guy. I think he recently passed away. Um, but he sings Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then he also adds What a Wonderful World. Anyway, I remember carrying Elijah, hearing that song, and when we adopted Elijah, this verse Romans 8:28 like came to life, for me, where it says, for those who love God, all things work together for their good. And I just, and me holding Elijah, gonna adopt him, make him officially my own. I felt like that was his verse. That verse came to life with Elijah. So we were about to adopt Elijah, and like a couple of days before the adoption day, CPS came knocking on my door, and they had said, hey, Larry and Sebastian, Elijah's brothers, are in need of a home, and we were wondering if you guys would be interested in taking them in, kind of keeping the family together. So, at that time, Crystal and I were living in an apartment. It was a one-bedroom apartment, and we were like, I mean, I don't know if we can do this. We're Mexican. It's not wouldn't be totally abnormal for us, but we just felt like, man, I don't know, it's gonna be too difficult to have 3 kids, in a one-bedroom apartment. So we're like, okay, well, we'll see what happens, and let's kind of get over this. Let's get through this adoption first, and we'll go from there. And we prayed and we sought counsel. We sought after what the Lord wanted us to do, and I remember praying. I said, Lord, okay, if you want us to do this, we will, but we need a home. You need to give us a home that we can raise a family in it. And it's funny, man, the Lord worked, and he ended up providing a home for us. And so we did. We were obedient. We took on, after we adopted Elijah, we took on Larry and Sebastian. So I got Larry and Sebastian when they were 11 and 10. Larry was 11, Sebastian was 10. And, my family, kind of came to be, and it was great. We were happy, just my boys, all into sports, and coached every single one of them from football to baseball. I was just we are just happy, and I wasn't perfect, and wasn't you know the best dad out there. I was learning. I had there's no book out there that tells you how to uh, not rage, raise boys, and then teenage boys at that. So, but we were happy, man. We were content. I had my boys, and then in 2014, Chris and I decided to go to a bed and breakfast in February for our anniversary to Fredericksburg. And so February, went to this bed and breakfast, and November 2014 of that same year of the Fredericksburg bed and breakfast, Noah pops out. And man, we were just like, this is freaking awesome, man. We have a baby, and it was amazing, man. I always say that, man. I love Crystal being pregnant. I know she probably hated it, but man, I loved it. She looked so hot and sexy when she was pregnant, man. I loved her being pregnant, man. She was gorgeous. And but anyway, we had a baby in November. Noah popped out. Noah Ezra, he popped out, and we were cool, like awesome. Lord was awesome, just we had a baby boy, and after we thought, like 8 years, nothing, no babies, nothing. It wasn't for lack of trying, we didn't have kids. We actually kind of, Crystal and I kind of came to the conclusion like we couldn't have kids, and then here you go, 8 years later, here comes Noah. So, that time goes by, we have Noah, and, a couple of months go by, Crystal gets back into, working out, trying to lose the baby weight. And June comes around, and she's like telling me like, hey man, models, I've been working out, and like I'm not losing any weight, I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, well, we just had a baby in November, it's June, you can't be pregnant, right? I mean, I don't think this is possible, right? Can't be pregnant right away. So Father's Day, of all days, she's like, let me buy a test, and sure enough, it comes back positive. And I remember my first response was like, oh shit. Oh yeah, I know I was probably totally sorry, mom, if you hear that. I'm sorry, didn't mean to say it, but you know what I mean. I was just like, oh my gosh, like this cannot be happening. I was like, no, you got to get another test. Maybe that one wasn't accurate. So sure enough, the next one came back positive, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just wait to see what the doctor tells us. And sure enough, she goes to the doctor. She's like 3 or 4 months pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. You're gonna have another kid. We just had one. They're gonna be a year apart. Like, what the heck are we doing? We can't do this. Anyway, so December comes around of 2015, and Micah Jace, he popped out, and honestly, man, I cannot imagine my life without any one of my boys. Neither one of them. From Larry to Sebastian to Elijah to Noah to Jace, I can't imagine my life without either one of them. As difficult as some of them may be, I wouldn't want it any other way. And so there we have our five boys, and yeah, it hasn't been easy. It's been difficult sometimes. I always try to, if I ever give counsel to like any young fathers, not like I have a lot of experience, but I always tell, up and coming fathers, I just try to tell them like, hey man, with your kids, I think in life in general too, man, like you're gonna lose battles. I lost plenty of battles with my boys, in pointless arguments, things that you said that you regret. These are battles that I've lost, and but I always say, like I'm not gonna lose this war when it comes to them, raising them, teaching them to do what's right, and it's an ongoing battle, with every one of them. Even Larry, who now moved out with his biological mom, which is another story in itself, but things worked out pretty well with his biological mom, and so he's back with her. But even with him, it's sometimes a battle with him as well. He's 18, kind of want to do his own thing, but you're still raising them, even if they don't live at your house. you're always gonna be dad no matter what, you know. And I remember him texting me one day and telling me like, "Hey, bro, Mark, I'm gonna be like 18 already." And I'm like, dude, all that's gonna change is a number. You know, you're still gonna be my kid. You're still gonna be a pain in my butt, and I'm still gonna love you no matter what. And so anyway, like, you know, you're gonna lose battles, but you know, don't lose the war. You can't lose the war when it comes to your kids. So that's how my family came to be. You know, it came out of loss, and you know, that was huge for us. But I just I could never imagine like the plan that God had um, on that day. You know, I always think about like when you go to the ocean, you know, and big fan of like beaches. I'm huge. And I remember like, you know, going to Cancun and one day and just watching the ocean, watching the sea. And I thought like, you know, I would think about like my eyes can only go so far, but the ocean is much bigger than what my eyes can see. And I remember the day that we lost that baby, like all I saw was lost, like that was it. I didn't see anything else. And God had, you know, this amazing plan, something even greater than I could have ever imagined. I went from like 0 to 5 kids in like 60 seconds, you know. And you know, some people, it's crazy. Some people would tell me, well, hey, yeah, you know, so you had 2 kids of your own, and these are your adopted kids, and these are like, no, 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 they're all my kids. Every one of them was given to me by God, differently, yeah, but they were all given to me by God, and I love them each and every single one of them. I love them all the same. I don't love them any differently, no matter what. So, you know, from Larry, Gabriel, you know, I love that kid, and Sebastian James, you know, my boy too, Bash, you know, Elijah, Luke, my baseball star, man. I love that little boy, and he shares my passion in baseball. No doubt about him. Noah, Ezra, amazing little boy too, man. Starting to share my passion in baseball, and just he's just very loved. And then Micah Jace, the the one that's putting gray hairs on my head, and I'm sure Crystal's head as well. He's terrible, but man, I love each and every one of my boys the same. So anyway, hopefully you guys can, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I shared a little bit about myself and about how my family came to be. Hopefully you guys can use this as an encouragement, you know. That verse can give life to you guys as well. No matter what situation you may be in, remember, for those who love God, all things work out together for their good. And God worked out a difficult situation into something great and gave me a forever family. Whenever you adopt kids, they tell you that you have a forever family now, and I have a forever family now. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you can, like it and subscribe to my channel. It's Live Between the O's, Liv between the O's. It's based off of my last name, Olivo, Olivo. So that's why I thought it was, you know, a little bit cool. Or Live Between the O's. Anyways, if you guys like this, if you guys can like this video, subscribe to my channel. Again, I'm trying to post videos at least once a week if I can. This week was terrible for me, man. I had a flu-like virus, they said. So I lost my voice now. This is probably the worst of it. Hopefully the end of it as well. I mean, actually, I faced the worst of it Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably Monday too. So anyway, but wanted to put this video out there. So hope you guys like it. If you can like or subscribe to my channel, if you guys get a chance. Thank you guys, and God bless you guys. Appreciate it.